Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Gathering Movement interview series. I am here today with the beautiful, sparkly, magnetic Kim Adams. So welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. And it's just incredible what you're doing and especially on this day full of so much energy, and it's so exciting. So I'm honored.
I am so grateful that you are here. And really, the biggest vision of all of this is to amplify our voices, to amplify the voices of those who want to make a difference in the world. And I believe that we can really do that when we do come together on, virtual stages like this and just simply share. It's so beautiful and so simple.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm excited to be here.
I love it. So one of the first questions I typically always ask everyone is, how does your work in the world empower others to be the leader of their life?
Oh, I think through, I was in corporate America for a long time. So me being able to tap into my intuition and stillness, that is truly where all of my answers have come from. And I think I was doing it a long time before and didn't really even know what I was doing or how I was leading in that way. So that really is like, how can I spread that message of joy and love, and how you use your intuition to truly change corporate America?
I love that. And I think people like you are really going to make such a big shift in that world, as we're already, just starting to see. And off of that, one of the most exciting things in, reading a little bit about you and checking you out on Instagram, you called yourself a manifester of magic. And I would love for you to talk about what that means to you, how that came about.
So I really do. I mean, I think my path, everything has led me to now, and I know everything has happened for a reason, but I am truly living my dream life. I'm with the love of my life. I have a family that I've never had. I'm able to, I'm going into creating my own business at 53 years old. So I look around my surroundings and I'm like, holy shit, all of my vision boards, all of my prayers, I almost get goosebumps and emotional when I talk about it, because it truly does work if you allow to receive and if you do the work and the action that comes along with it.
Mm. I have chills as you're saying this, and I think it's such a potent day, and it's like we are able to create the life that we envision for ourselves. We are the creators.
Absolutely. I have one of my most favorite sayings or mantras when I meditate is, I am a powerful creator. And just sitting still with that, reciting that. But I really, stillness has been the biggest guide for me, especially this last year and a half, I would say.
Now, for the people who watch this or listen or hear with us live, and maybe they've heard of vision boards, but they feel like it's not happening, it's not working, quote unquote, what do they do? Where do they start?
Well, I always started by just being a seeker and being open to whatever kind of came into my path, whether it was like you, for example, or, going to a Reiki session, or there was a sound healing meditation, at the yoga center. Like, I was just always open. And so as I started the journey of actually doing the vision boards and journaling and doing all of these things, where I knew that if I worked this and put small action along with source and the universe and all of that stuff, that it would come about. Like, I've always just trusted my inner knowing that it would happen. But there is work involved. There are the steps of seeking out other people, being divinely aligned. And what is for your best and highest won't pass you by.
I had to breathe that one in.
That's good, right? Well, and sometimes, I get caught up, and I know we all do, in the busyness, or I've got to do this, I've got to do that. I've taken more naps in the last 2 months than I have in 30 years. And, there's something beautiful about being able to take a nap because you're still creating. And so just being able to lay down, take a nap, rest, and know that what is for me is not going to pass me by. What's for any of us.
I love that you touched on the piece of like a little bit of the action, because as someone who was a binge watcher of The Secret when it came on Netflix a number of years ago, I was like, this is incredible. I just need to ask, receive, believe, and snap my fingers, and it is here. And my own journey, I learned there was a whole bunch of action that actually went behind that intention. So I'd love for you to share a little bit on like what that means and what that's meant with the people that you worked with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I had this team of badass women, as I talked about, and part of the inspiration for the book is wanting to share these methods. But part of it was just, helping them align with their goals and their dreams and writing it down, right? Doing the vision board, writing it down, having a mantra, having affirmations that I would look at, taped to my, bathroom mirror every morning. Self-care has been, I just got like a big hit on that. Self-care is such a huge component of that journey. And so those were things that I taught to the women that I worked with. They're just like getting out of the way of worrying and just doing these little tiny things, taking care of your family, taking a silent walk, going to a yoga class, whatever it was. There are all these little actions that if you're doing them, you still need to trust, you still need to believe, you still need to meditate, you still need to do your vision boards. But, these little small actions, you wake up and you look back and you're like, I did that. I manifested. And one of my chapters in my book is you can't make this shit up. Because you can't make it up.
You can't. I love that because I'm cracking up because I say that all the time. Like, you just can't make this shit up. You can't make it up.
The synchronicities, the tingling that happens, the goosebumps when you're like, holy shit, like, I was thinking about that person, they called, and like people are starting to say at my work that they thought I was bugging their office because I would call them the exact moment when they were talking about me or thinking about me. So it's cool, right?
It's so cool. And I'm the person who I love to hear about people's stories. I want to know, how you got to this place that you are today, teaching people, writing books, helping people. How did you get here?
It's a long journey. Not gonna lie, right? There's definitely some trauma along my journey. There was some sexual abuse. There was some eating disorder. At one point, I weighed 190, close to 190 pounds when I was 19 years old. So, I've had struggles in my life. I've gotten laid off 2 or 3 times in my life. So I've had these different struggles. But I think the biggest thing is that started me on this path of knowing to trust my intuition was when I was 190 pounds in an eating disorder unit. And I was down on my knees with my hands up in the air, praying to God, the universe, to help me. And that form came in my father and allowed me to kind of start this journey of it started with therapy, and it started with taking care of my body more and not just looking at myself I felt like I looked at myself from here up a lot of my life. And so being able to drop down into my heart and to be still and to know that I have all the answers, and that I am a thriver. I'm not a survivor. I like to say that I'm a thriver. And so once I started doing one little step in front of the other, it just all started to magically kind of just align, where going back to, like, I didn't finish my college education. It aligned where I could go back and finish my college education. It aligned where I was working with an amazing dentist that I worked for after leaving a super terrible one who used to stab me with instruments. And I was like, okay, real quick. There's a point in the book. He said to me one day, I was like 21 years old, that if it wasn't for him, that I would be working at Jack in the Box. And I quote, at Jack in the Box. And something inside me that day just rose up, and I'm like, no effing way. That is not my journey. Boom. And I was gone in 2 weeks and started on my path. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit about kind of where it all started. And then it's only grown since then. But I followed the next best step, but also was a big advocate for myself and like knowing I could do it. I mean, I think I read something when I left the eating disorder unit that I had a low IQ, and here I was, this person who hadn't graduated college and all of these things, and I just didn't let it stand in my way. I knew inside me that I was meant for leadership. Heart-led leadership.
Yeah. Yes. And I love to hear people's stories, because most of us have had these challenging times in our life, or this major catalyst that made us wake up and say, what the hell? This is not it. This is not it. And just as you said, you just put one foot in front of the other. And I always see this like doorways. It's almost like I open one door and then there's a million other paths or routes or people and opportunities behind it. And it's just like this meandering journey. But like, as you say, you have to be open to it.
Absolutely. And, part of my process has been truly just really wanting the best and highest for everyone involved. The team that I worked with, the company that I used to work for, this conversation we're having right now. And when I would reach out to people, and when you reach out to me, I kind of think like, if this is for both of our best and highest, it's going to be a high vibration. It's going to be right. And I guess there's always the chance now, you're on a spiritual path. There's still things that are going to happen. I mean, I've struggled the last 2 weeks with some of the energy, but you just keep going to these different higher vibrations, and it's so flipping cool.
It really is so cool. It really is so cool. It's definitely a journey. I will attest to that. And I'm so grateful to have community and just friends, and even conversations with people like you, who we can just vibe, and we're on different parts of the country, different sides of the country, but it doesn't matter.
No, let's all go have a drink or a cocktail or a yoga session. I mean, I think that's being around the like-minded people is just, again, with even business, I talk about spiritual families and creating spiritual families at work. Wow, what a world that would be if we're all working with our like-minded, our spiritual families, where we're getting all of this love and compassion and acceptance and joy from. I mean, it's coming. It's coming.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yes.
It is. So we called this the corporate hippie, change your leadership in an instant. And yes. I'd love to know what that means to you.
So I believe that it means bringing your full self, your spiritually enlightened and awakened self, to your work, and how you talk to people, relate to people, integrate with people. It's not separate anymore, right? I mean, we can't act one way at home and another way at work, or one way to the, gas station attendant, or to the, sales clerk. It's all integrated now, right? We're all one. And so that's what I think is so important, is the managers and people hiring now have the ability to really make foundational change and change the whole paradigm of work moving forward. Now, it started with the Zooms and the pandemic, of course, but as you know, just right now, like, we're coming into each other's energy by having the Zoom. Imagine that happening with all the people working, and how, if they're not aware of their energy, if they're not doing their own work, the stuff that can start to happen from just these types of interaction. It's so different from face to face. And I just feel there's an opportunity for managers, bosses, and companies to step up and kind of, I guess I'm saying, being a light worker as a boss, as a manager. So the corporate hippie is someone who can be on a team and can provide that light, or just be more aware of what they're allowing themselves to work in, because some of the old boys club, it's dead.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think 2020 has been such an awakening year for so many people, where they realize, wow, this doesn't serve me. What I'm doing right now does not serve me. It is not in alignment. My health is struggling, my relationships, I don't feel in tune with my body. So, I mean, what a year for this, for everyone. And I love what you're doing, because we do need these shifts in the workplace. We really, really do. And who does it start with? Does it start with the hiring manager, or does it start with the individual who is going to apply for the job and who realizes that they are worthy? Where does it begin?
That's a great question. You know what? From my own experience, it started with me. I was one of, 10 managers at this company, and I was given this autonomy by my boss at the time. Her name was Ann Piper, a huge mentor of mine, to go build my team. And that was the first time anyone gave me that autonomy to build my team the way I wanted and to hire who I wanted. And so it started with me, with my hiring and trusting my intuition on every person that I met. And there was especially one person, her name was Katie Flora, and she had no sales experience. She'd only worked in agencies. She was younger, and everything inside me knew she was going to be a flippin' rock star. And Ann said, I don't think she's the right person, but I'm going to let you hire her. She killed it, and she killed it within 9 months, and she's still killing it to this day. I think she's over at she's working at Spotify right now in sales, and she is just amazing. And so me being able to truly build out my team the way I wanted was a huge part. And I think then it starts to then, now, how have I impacted these other 8, 9, 10 women that I came across to go build their teams, or when they change jobs? How has it impacted them? So I think it can start at the top, which is ultimately the goal, right? The hiring manager, HR. I've started to see some companies talk about people being like a people manager or a compassion leader. So, you're starting to see these changes in titles. So, long answer, it can start with anywhere. It can start with one person actually taking a job, listening to their heart, and saying that place is going to treat me with love and compassion and respect.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, I think it could really come from both sides. It could come from the person who has awareness of, this is where I want to work. This is who I am. These are what I value. And then it can come from top down as well, saying, I just intuitively feel like they're the right fit, beyond
Exactly.
any credentials or the perfect resume.
Exactly. Because when I think about all the credentials I didn't have, somebody took a chance on me for my first job. I was working at broadcast.com for Mark Cuban in 1998. And 7 people didn't want to hire me. I had one manager stand up and say he wanted to hire me, and it changed my life. So it works when you really feel that person, for whatever reason, is aligned with your mission, your company. And even sometimes it's just listening to your heart and being like, is this person going to fit on our team?
I love this. And I always believed that any place I worked needed to be in alignment with like my heart and my values. And that's really one of the reasons I became an entrepreneur, because I knew, well, if I don't find it anywhere else, I'll just create it for myself. But this conversation does excite me because I can see where the companies and the organizations and the people who are applying, everything is starting to shift.
Yes.
And I'm curious about like resumes, because that was such a big thing when I was in college. It was like, you must have the perfect resume. Is that going to change as our leadership changes?
I think so. Now, I don't know exactly what it looks like, but it was always for me, of course, there are a couple things you had to have, graduate from college sometimes for certain jobs, of course, but I don't even know that matters anymore if it's the right person, honestly, because, there's a chance I couldn't have graduated from college, but I do think it is getting on the phone with that person and just trusting your initial 30-second kind of flow and their 30-second vibe with them on the call. Like, are you connecting with their energy on the call? Is it feeling positive? Is it lifting you up? And then I started to add a component of going to dinner or going to lunch or grabbing coffee with someone. Because if you're going to be around these people all the time, you really do have to feel a connection. At least that's what I believe. And so I would go to lunch with people, and in, 15 minutes, an hour lunch, whatever it was, after 15-minute coffee, I would be able to rule people out or in. It was not even caring if they were the most qualified person. So I think it's the more that you work on yourself, the more that you're aligned your energy with other people's, the more that those right opportunities are going to come your way.
I agree. I absolutely agree. These are exciting times as everything is beginning to shift and more people are just taking care of themselves, starting to realize who they truly are at the core of their being, beyond any of the labels that we tend to place on ourselves by society, friends, family, and the like. I would love for you
It's just
to
going to
share.
go warp speed. It like from now, I mean, I've just noticed, and it's just going to, I mean, it's just going to be like an avalanche. That's what's coming. And so that's why I was like, okay, I've got to write this book now.
Perfect. I would love to hear about the book. That was my question. So you're psychic.
Oh, I'm vibing on you. So I actually started the process about 2.5 years ago, and would write a little bit and put it down. And I did like a little kind of coaching day, and all of these messages just kept coming up. And I put it down for about 1.5 years. And then I moved to California with the love of my life and my, little magical bonus kids that I have, 7 and 10. So here I was, moved to California. I got laid off twice within 5 months of being here. Mm-hmm. And it's like the universe was saying, Kim, we want you to be still. You know how you talk about stillness, Kim? We really want you to be still and to not work. And so it gave me that time to really just to rest and to really get clear on my message and what I wanted to put out in the world. And then once I got past the e-learning of the kids and his mom being here, I sat down and I really started to bang it out, and I found a book coach to help me. And then it all just started coming together. I found an editor. I got out of my own way, Bridget. I got out of my own way. I had this imagination of, it needs to be like it's on Barnes Noble, or it needs to have that shiny cover. And I had all these expectations in my head of what it should be. And once I got out of my own way, I was like, it doesn't matter how the message is put out there. There are people that are only going to get, whatever reason, my unique message. And that's what I stood behind. And that's why I'm going forward with it. And it's really about how you can trust signs, your intuition, stillness, how you can be a heart-driven leader, and how you can take all of these aspects and take them from your home to your friendships to your work, and some methods along the way, how to do it.
I love it. Woo!
I hope you're going to buy it.
I'll have to get a copy.
I think it's like February timeframe is what I'm looking at. And I've already started to, I'm working with some consulting right now to some clients of my past life when I was in advertising, of how they can start utilizing these methods. So it's kind of, the book's not even here. And I already have people reaching out to me to be like, hey, can you come speak? I'm like, yes, I can.
You should create a wait list, or they have like that pre-sell.
Oh, yes. I know. I got to do the business stuff now. It's the fun stuff I've been doing. Now I've got to do the actual business stuff of this. So I'm excited. That's a great suggestion.
I love this. So who would be the perfect person to read this book?
You know what? I feel like anyone starting out their career, like some of the new graduates that that have been through COVID, that haven't found their path yet, a little bit in fear, right, of what they're going to do, how the world has changed. I think it's the perfect time for all of those new graduates, people going to college, just coming out. But also, I feel like anybody 20s to 60s that's working, honestly, if you are starting a business, if you are one of the person on a team of 10, if you work at a doctor's appointment, all the way up to CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I mean, I feel like there's alignment, and there's a message for anyone in that realm. But I don't know. I think the biggest things are these 20-somethings and these new graduates. I feel like would be so, if I knew this at 19, 20, 21, 22, I can only dream where I would be. And again, this was my path and I'm okay with it, but I wish I would have known then what I know now. And if there's a little seed that sparks from somebody, that would be my hope.
On my own journey, books have been such a seed planter, really, because you read one book and everything changes, really. So I trust that this will be a beautiful seed in so many people's lives.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. That is my prayer and my greatest hope, that it just, you know what, if it just inspires one person to choose differently, that's all that really matters, right? One person at a time.
One person. Yep. I like to say one voice at a time. We change the world.
Absolutely.
Anything else on your mind or on your heart that you'd love to share with anyone listening? Even if you close your eyes and just see what comes through.
You know, the biggest blessing for me and the biggest thing coming up for me right now also is just the fact that I finally remember what my soul is here to do, and to inspire others. And even my 7 and 9 and 10-year-old little bonus kids, Natalia and Emilio, if I can help them help remember who their soul is and be unshakable in their desire to go do what they're meant to do in this world and be a light that's shining, that would be my greatest joy.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting teary even hearing that, because if we can influence one person, if one person can listen to this conversation today and feel that they are worthy, that they are meant for something that is in alignment with their soul, if, your bonus children can read the book or feel inspired, if my husband can feel inspired and then inspire someone else, we are making a change in this world, and it just starts with us.
Absolutely, sister. Soul sister.
Sister.
You said it. Amen. Amen. Woo! Hallelujah.
Aho. Woo! So where can people find you? Where can they get the book? Where can they hear everything that you have to offer?
Absolutely. Well, on Instagram, I'm ManifestwithKim on Instagram. My website is thecorporatehippie, hippie.co. I think I should be putting a list up there where you can register, where I can send out updates when the book's coming out. I'm going to be sharing more of my journey along the way on Instagram, and it should be ready in live in February. So definitely follow me, and I will share the book, and I'll definitely do like a winner and like a little prize. But thank you so much for having me. It's been truly an honor, and what a beautiful day to talk about this and send to the world.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing your voice today. Thank you for doing your work in the world. Thank you for sharing your story. I feel so grateful, and this interview has just lit me up inside. So thank you. Thank you. And if anyone is listening, you've probably heard my 2021 plans, but I have a beautiful, audacious goal of interviewing 100 pioneers, leaders, way showers who are really here to make a difference in the world. And I want to amplify their voices. So if you know someone who would be a perfect fit to be interviewed and has the same values and ideals of heart-centered living as I do, I would love for you to tag them below. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Kim. I'm so grateful for you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, everyone.